And today, I would like to take you to Kuwait. Here, we have been asked to develop a master plan for a new city with a population of 280,000 people. Let's watch a short clip. Our site spans across 24 square miles. We developed a master plan that is at human scale and incorporates sustainability at its core. We have shaded routes and walkways to promote walking and cycling as sustainable modes of transport. And we're embedding amenities right into the residential districts to create a city of short distances. At the heart of the development, we have a central business district, which doesn't just provide jobs, but also hosts cultural and civic functions. Now that you've seen our vision, let's rewind and start at the beginning. We believe that in order to design the world we want to see, we need to understand the world that is today. 10 years ago, Richard Saul Wurman developed the idea of the Urban Observatory. This is a platform that allows us to compare cities at the same scale. We've built on this idea and created our own library of cities. What can we learn? By starting with a simple street network, we can run an algorithm that reveals the spatial hierarchy within this system. And similar to the blood vessels in our bodies, we can see that our cities have arteries, big ones and small ones. As I zoom in and turn on the location of businesses, we can then start to see patterns between the location of those businesses and how they're clustering along the main arteries. And we can look at the relationship between density and urban form. By selecting a density that's relevant to our project, we can again zoom into any of our maps, and we can start to see the building typologies that might be relevant for our project. But why am I telling you this? Because geography matters. At Foster's, we build geography right into our design process. We need to understand the patterns and relationships, the forces that shape our cities, so that we can take informed decisions when we design new projects. Now, let me pass you over to my colleague Matteo. He's in our design studio in London, and he's going to show us how we're using this knowledge to create a master plan using ArcGIS City Engine. Matteo.
So how do we go about taking what we learned to create a successful city people want to live in? The first thing we want to do is understand our geography and the constraints we have. For this, we'll get an aerial image along with the existing street network. As we'll see, we have a development in the north, along with planned developments to the east, west, and south of the site. We are at the heart of the southern region, and it will be important to create strong regional links to ensure sustainable future economic growth. With this in mind, together with transport engineers and designers, we lay out the road network. First, creating the main streets that will provide regional connectivity, then our secondary and tertiary streets that will define and connect the different neighborhoods, and lastly, our local streets that will connect every building. Through this process, we reduce the total amount of road space allocated from the 40% usual in the region to 30%, improving efficiency, reducing costs, while providing more open space for people to enjoy. Now that we have our street network, we can start distributing our different land uses. To aid in this, we run a connectivity analysis to understand potential movement flow and apply this to our blocks. We see that the diagonal streets, along with the place in the center, have the highest connectivity, a perfect place for our central business district. Other uses, like educational facilities and community centers, can be distributed along the diamond shapes that intersect our main streets. Now that we have some basic strategies in place, we want to start distributing our open spaces. These will be key in improving air quality, reducing heat island effects, and promoting social interactions, creating a more sustainable and livable city. We want to ensure everyone is within a 400-meter walking distance to a green space, and we'll highlight in red plots that don't meet this criteria. We'll start with a green park around our central business district. Next, a park in the center. And lastly, we allocate open spaces distributed along the neighborhoods in our site. We'll distribute the rest of our land uses, keeping in mind our connectivity analysis, allocating government, office, and retail uses to our central business district, health, educational facilities, and community centers to other high connectivity areas, keeping our residential to more quiet places. Finally, we can generate our buildings. For this, we'll consider the use it will have and the climate region, ensuring we're responding adequately to the hot temperatures, sandstorms, and possible flash floods, with sustainability and resiliency in mind. Now let's zoom in into our park surrounding our central business district. Here, we want to enhance quality of life and ensure protection from the natural elements. We'll increase the density along the edges by creating taller buildings overlooking our park, and we distribute ample shade structures and native vegetation. Now let's zoom in into our central business district. Here, we want to ensure we're creating places people want to live in. We create pedestrian paths that connect to small public spaces. The buildings help provide shading, and we add additional protection with native vegetation and canopy structures. We also want to ensure our buildings are responding adequately to the climate region, and we'll detail these. Although we have condensed this process to a brief presentation, the actual design process is an iterative collaboration between multiple design professionals, bringing together all the elements needed to create a city that will respond to the needs of the people that will live here in the future.
Thank you, Matteo. Now that we have a master plan, we can share it with our client. We can write the big report, but wouldn't it be amazing to share the actual 3D model? From City Engine, we can directly export the model to a web scene that we can navigate and browse through in the browser. We can embed this web scene in a story map and add additional overlays, such as the keynotes in the development or the phasing boundaries of the project. And we can even zoom right into development and stand between the buildings that Matteo just generated for us. But sometimes we have to go one step further. Here, we've taken the City Engine scene and we've exported it to Unreal, a game engine. In Unreal, we can replace materials and add additional animation, such as the people you can see walking through the space. Using this game engine technology allows us to move through a photorealistic environment with our client and in real time. By using these tools, we can share our vision for a world we want to see. Thank you.